Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 204. I'm Andrew Eisen, and I'm very hot. It's 89 degrees in here. It's really uncomfortable. I don't like it. And SDG&E is warning us not to use too much electricity during the day, or they'll be forced to do some rolling blackouts. So that's just some more suckage to shovel onto the pile of suck. Just, oh, more suck. You shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. Just, you know, put it over there with the rest of the suck. I don't think anyone will notice. Lots of suck. What's a little bit more suck? Uh, so, I've been swearing a lot lately. And I mean, like, in public, or rather on my podcasts and my videos and game streams. I have a dirty, filthy potty mouth, but I try not to swear too much, or at least reserve my profanities for when I think they are the most impactful. And I've been a little loose with them lately, mainly because of all the suck, the big pile of suck. Um, so I'm gonna talk about some things that make me happy tonight and some things that don't, and do my best to limit the number of f bombs I drop. So we'll see how successful I am. Cass says I can use f bombs like a comma. It's such a versatile word, you know. Um, so yeah, I actually recorded a few Gem and the Holograms videos this afternoon. I was just sweating because I have lights beaming at me, and oh, it's miserable. But the joy of Gem and the Holograms can overcome the ridiculous heat of my apartment. So, Matthew says, play Flight Sim 2020. What's the deal with the Flight Sim? Because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it, and I'm so uninterested in Flight Sims I haven't actually read anything about it, but it seems like a weird one to just be capturing people's attention right now. I guess I'll have to look into see what the big deal about that is. But all right, so let's get the really crappity crap stuff out of the way first. So let me find it. Looking. There we go. So last week I told you about 505 Games, who said who released a game called or published rather a game from Remedy called Control, and came out almost a year ago, and did I don't know what its sales numbers are, but it seemed quite well liked by critics and gamers alike. So announced last week, I believe, 505 said, "Hey, we're going to be making a next gen version of Control, and if you would like a free upgrade to the next gen version of Control, you know we've noticed that some other companies have been committing to upgrade versions of current gen games to next gen for free, and we're doing the exact same thing. So anyone who wants a free upgrade to the next gen version of Control, all you have to do is buy a new version of Control, which we're releasing next week." And gamers said, "What?" And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, maybe we stuttered." If you would like a free upgrade to the next-gen version of Control, all you have to do is buy a new version of Control that we're releasing next week. What if we already bought Control sometime in the last year? Oh, well, then you can't have a free upgrade. You'll have to buy the next-gen version of the game. Needless to say, gamers were WTFing all over that. So, 505 Games, in its infinite wisdom, decided to reach out to gamers and explain what's going on. And I will read this explanation. And we will enjoy this explanation together. Says 505 Games. Last week, alongside information about the upcoming AWE expansion for Control, which is a DLC pack, we also released information about Control Ultimate Edition, a Control package featuring the Foundation and AWE expansions, the DLC, coming to current and next-gen consoles as well as PC. We spent several months exploring all of our launch options for Control Ultimate Edition, and no decision was taken lightly. While it is challenging bringing any game to next-gen platforms, we quickly realized it was even more difficult to upgrade our current user base to next-gen with full parity across platforms with our year-old game. Every avenue we pursued, there was some form of blocker, and those blockers meant that at least one group of players ended up being left out of the upgrade for various reasons. As of today, we can't offer an upgrade to everyone, and leaving any one group out feels unfair. We understand that is not what you want to hear. Understandably, there are still some questions about what this means for those who already own Control on current-gen consoles, and we hope to clear this up. Question. Will I be able to purchase the Control base game on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X without the additional content? No. Does this mean the Season Pass won't be available to purchase separately on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X? Yes. Here's the important one. I own the Control base game and Season Pass. Is this not the same as Control Ultimate Edition? The objective of Control Ultimate Edition was not to release new exclusive content on the next-gen game platforms, on the next-gen platforms, but to offer the full Control gameplay experience to new Control players in a single, easy-to-find product. The PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of Control contain the same content as the current-gen game. I'll read that again because I think it's important. The next-gen versions of Control contain the same content as the current-gen game, though they do take full advantage of the power and features provided by those new consoles. The upgrade path that we are offering is only possible when upgrading from the same version of the game. As we are only doing additional development on Control Ultimate Edition on the next-gen platforms, we are unfortunately unable to offer an upgrade path to all existing Control players. We understand how this might upset a number of players, but you will still be able to play the 2019 edition of Control and each expansion on the new platforms via backwards compatibility. In conclusion, to bring Control to next-gen consoles in any form, we had to make some difficult decisions, and those came in the form of creating the simplified Control Ultimate Edition product plan we have today. That we took a while in responding does not mean we have not been listening. No. We are sorry we couldn't meet everyone's expectations, and we hope you will continue to give us a support Control. We thank you for your support thus far. And by thanking you for your support thus far, we mean give us more money for the same thing you already bought. So, the PlayStation 5 slash Xbox Series X versions of Control contain the same content as the current gen game. The upgrade path that we are offering is only possible when upgrading from the same version of the game. The upgrade path that we are offering is only possible when upgrading from the same version of the game. What was the previous sentence? Literally, the previous sentence. The PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions of Control contain the same content as the current gen game. Only possible when upgrading from the same version of the game. Same content as the current gen game. Huh. We can't offer an upgrade to everyone. 505 is lying. 505 Games, you are a bald-faced liar. You can offer an upgrade to everyone. You simply choose not to. I would like to offer 505 Games, if I may, one of my fingers. Can you guess which one? I'll give you a hint. It's not this one. So that eliminates that. Can you guess? You got a 1 in 4 shot here. Can you guess which finger I'm offering you? 505 Games. All this haughty commentary coming from a gentleman who has, for whatever reason, no interest in Control. But, you know, it's the principle of the thing. I really don't like liars or deceivers. It makes me want to kick a plant. So, I love how they wax on and on about how, oh, we don't want to leave anyone out. It wouldn't be fair. And their solution is to leave literally everyone out, because the only version of the game that can be upgraded for free is the version of the game that doesn't exist yet. It comes out next week. Hey, 505, maybe you're just incompetent and can't figure out how to do this. Other publishers have figured it out. Or they say they have. They haven't done it yet. But maybe send them an email and say, hey, we really don't want to leave our fans, the people who've supported us and given us money for a year. It's unfair. We don't want to exclude them and leave them out. Help us, Obi-Wan other publishers. Teach us how to be good and consumer-friendly, so we don't piss off not just our fans, but random dorks on the internet who don't even play our game. "505 is poopy and wrong," says Matthew. But my bet more people complained than bought Control to begin with, given it tanked. Well, I'm one of them. I didn't buy Control because it never appealed to me. I don't know why. It just didn't call to me. I don't think it looks bad or anything. I'm certainly not pushing back against anyone who liked it. It just didn't appeal to me. Why not do what 2K and all companies did? Anyone who owned the game, the original game plus DLC, replace the old version with the remastered version. Yeah, yeah. 505 could do that. It could do that. As I said, though, it just chooses not to and instead lies about it. So, oh, you got the Mario. Jordan says he's got the Mario Legos for $10. Ah, yeah. Matthew says, for reference, 2K did it with Bioshock and its remasters. Oh, that's true. It's not just this gen to the next gen. They actually did some of that. You did see this a bit with the previous gen too. So, yeah. So that's enough 505 because heck with that company. Let's talk about a different company. Let's talk about switching here. Switching. Got nope. Nope. Come on, tabs. Be tabby. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay. Let's talk about Ubisoft, a company that for decades has knowingly harbored and protected sexual predators, harassers, and abusers. Ubisoft, like it's wont to do, has many versions of its upcoming games. So many that it requires a damn chart so that consumers can figure out what the hell version comes with what stuff. So, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, and Watch Dogs Legion are some upcoming games. And they have basic editions for $60, and they've got gold editions and super special editions and legendary editions, and all the way up to $200 collector's editions for collectors who like to collect. It's well named. So Ubisoft announced earlier in the week that the Xbox version of the $200 collector's editions for all three games will no longer include a physical disc. This applies, so far as I can tell, only to the UK. The PlayStation and PC versions will, well, not the PC version, but the PlayStation version will still have the disc. The North America version of both will still have the disc. So if you drop $200 on the collector's version in UK for Xbox, you are no longer getting the physical disc for your collection as a collector from the collector's edition. So Ubisoft decided to devalue the Xbox version of these collector's editions, at least the ones releasing in the UK. So how much did they drop the price of the collector's editions now that they've devalued them by removing some physical content that people have already put money down on a pre-order for? So how much did they drop the price? 0. They didn't drop the price at all. They devalued the product, but you're still paying exactly the same for it, UK friends. Sorry. Ubisoft has, again, for decades been knowingly harboring and protecting sexual predators, abusers, and harassers. You think they care about you? It don't. Last time I checked, 2 days ago, all three pre-orders for the Xbox edition on the UK store, on the Ubisoft UK store, are sold out. The pre-orders for the collector's edition for the Xbox version in the UK on Ubisoft's online store are sold out. So Ubisoft decided to devalue these products after they had sold through Their entire allotment. Well, I mean, it's not the worst thing Ubisoft has ever done. I'd say the whole knowingly harboring and protecting sexual predators and harassers and abusers, that's a little higher on the list, but this is this is this is less crap, but still crap. So, I mean, if you're a fan of these games, fan enough to be a collector of physical tchotchkes, like little statuettes and stuff, enough of one to drop $200 on the various collector's editions for these games on the Xbox in the UK. Sorry, but I'd never treat you like that. I would also never, protect and harbor sexual predators, harassers, and abusers either. So, uh, because I'm a decent human being and Ubisoft is run by people who are not. So, maybe it's not too surprising when companies run by terrible human beings do crappy things that are not consumer friendly. It's like, oh man, an absolutely horrible person did a kind of uncool thing. Well, there's a surprise. Hey, Suzanne. Oh, Jordan clarifies from earlier. He got the Lego Mario costumes for $10 a piece. Okay, neat. Yeah, the Lego Mario figurine has like Fire Flower Mario, the different colored overalls. So so that's enough of that unpleasantness. Let's talk about the DC Fandome. I like a good pun, but there's a fine line between a pun that makes me go ah and a pun that makes me go I think DC Fandome is leaning more towards the side. I didn't watch the entire event. I just watched the various trailers once they were posted. So, friends, let's talk about the DC Fandome. Oh God. Okay, so number one, Wonder Woman. We got to see a trailer. Looks about the same as all the other trailers for the Wonder Woman 2 movie, Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah, Chaos Chaos agrees with the Um, looks fine. I mostly enjoyed the first movie. I thought the third act was much weaker than the first two acts, but overall I rather enjoyed the film, and I've been looking forward to the sequel. Mostly I've been really looking forward to how they were planning on doing Cheetah, who's in this movie. And all of the art that they've shown, art and production stills and stuff they've shown so far, have shown Kristen Wiig, the actor playing Cheetah, either in kind of a mousy conservative getup or a dark eyeshadow, leopard print coat kind of thing, making me wonder, oh, are they not doing Where Cheetah Cheetah? They're doing Where Cheetah Cheetah. You don't get a terribly good look at her because the scenes she's in are in at night in the rain or something. It's pretty dark, but I'm I'm just very happy that we're getting Where Kitty Cheetah. I don't ask for much. That's not true. I ask for a lot. But Where Kitty Cheetah is one of the things I ask for, and I'm getting Where Kitty Cheetah, and that makes me happy. Of course, not going to get to see the movie probably until it hits streaming because I don't know if they're releasing it to theaters or not. But I'm not going to the theater, so um, wasn't the Wonder Woman trailer just perfect? It was pretty good. I like the I like a lot of the whip. It's not a whip. It's a lasso. I like a lot of the lasso stuff where she spins it in front of her to block bullets, which makes no goddamn sense, but it's pretty cool. She's lassoing lightning, which also makes no sense, but is super cool. Um, there's a bunch of. It's like Captain America's shield. These things are definitely cool, but I, they just ignore physics. um, I don't know why Steve Trevor is there, but I'm enjoying dorky fashion Steve Trevor with fanny pack. That's getting a chuckle out of me. So yeah, the Jordan's talking about the parachute pants. Yeah, so it looks like it could be a fun movie. Will it be a good movie? I have no idea. But yeah, I'll give it a go whenever I have the opportunity to see it. Next, Gotham Knights, which is looks like the next Rocksteady game. It is not. It's Ubisoft Montreal. I'm sorry, not Ubisoft. Warner Brothers Montreal. And it looks like they're just making one of Rocksteady's Arkham games, starring uh, Batwoman. No, I'm sorry, not Batwoman. Batgirl. Batwoman's not in it, so far as I know, which is a bummer. But Gotham Knights. Um, so it's Batgirl, Barbara Gordon Batgirl, and three Robins. So I'm guessing young Robin, Damian Wayne, Red Hood, Jason Todd, I think, and Dick Grayson, Night Wolf. That's Mortal Kombat. Nightwing. Nightwing. Uh, so they showed a little CG trailer, and then they showed about 4 or 5 minutes of some gameplay, which was nice to see. Comes out next year. Um, I hope the chatty characters shut the hell up during the game because that was the most embarrassingly bad dialogue I've seen in a game in a while. Oh, wow, is that distracting. I hope that was just added in there to provide additional flavor and personality and context for a shorter gameplay demonstration. But man, I wanted to go into the options menu and shut off the character dialogue because, whoo, dog is it not good. Um, yeah, I've heard people a little soft on both Arkham Knight and Origins. I don't think Rocksteady did that one, but the Batman, it was Batman Origins or Arkham Origins or something like that. Um, my fave DC was Harley until they ruined her. Well, I'm not sure which. She's had a bunch of different incarnations. For example, I'm playing Batman Arkham Asylum right now. Yeah, I don't like what they did with Harley in this game, but I did like the Birds of Prey movie, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. But the Suicide Squad, that Rocksteady's new game, looks pretty cool, and I really like the Harley Quinn DC animated show. So There's a bunch of different versions of that character and others, so while it is disappointing to have a character you really like get a version that you don't, there will be a new one along. So, Origins was done by the same team that is making Gotham Knights. Well, if Origins was not good, which I've heard a few people say, then hopefully they've improved since. But anyway, Gotham Knights looks exactly like the Arkham games, just with Batgirl and the three Robins. So I'm I'm sure it'll be fine. I appreciated that they showed some gameplay. That's always nice. Okay, so the Suicide Squad. Uh, from what I understand, they finished shooting the movie earlier this year before the pandemic hit. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't have more to show, but they did show off the entire lineup, and it looks like they're doing like a Dirty Dozen thing because there's like literally a dozen. I didn't count, but oh, Origins was quite good, not perfect but good. Usually had the best boss fights in the Arkham games. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, so far in Arkham, the first one, Arkham the First, Arkham Asylum, I've not been impressed with any of the boss fights. Granted, I'm probably not that far in the game. I think I'm heading down into the sewers to face off against Killer Croc. So that's how far I am in the game. I think that's less than halfway, maybe 40% if the I think that's what the percentage counter said, like 40%. So I haven't really played that many boss fights, but the ones I've seen so far have been a variation on there's a really big dude. He's going to charge you, so you better hit him with a batarang and then dodge out of the way. Oh, this time there's two big dudes. Exact same thing, though. Um, then there was one against Scarecrow, which was just beat up a horde of goons and then press the prompt on the spotlight and do that 3 times. Oh, there was one of the giant dudes in that ruckus too. I mean, it's not unfun, it's just not particularly imaginative. But, only a third of the way through the game, so, hey, Uh, the boss fights in the Rocksteady Arkham games are all mediocre aside from Mr. Freeze. Oh, that's a shame. Um, Still enjoying the game, though. I think it's fun, and I really do like the conceit that they use in the game for justifying Batman getting, uh, you know, Samus Aran-esque upgrades. Instead of finding the wave beam or whatever, Batman has his own Batcave hidden on Arkham Island, and he stops by to pick up some stuff. I'm like, that's pretty great. That's a wonderful conceit. I really like that. He's like, I need the super duper grapple hook. And Oracle's like, oh well, you're stuck on Arkham. He's like, it's okay. There's a Batcave here on Arkham Island. And Oracle says, there there is you planned ahead to the point where you built another Batcave on Arkham Island. You thought that far ahead just in case this happened? And Batman says, you're damn right I did. I'm Batman. So he drops by the Batcave and he picks up some stuff. It's pretty great. Um, but you don't keep doing that. Later in the game, he's like, I need my zip line. It's in my other pair of pants. So like, doot, doot, doot. And the Batwing flies into the building. Drops off the zip line. It flies away. Oh, it's so wonderfully stupid. I love it. Anyway, so Suicide Squad. Let's see who's in it. Okay, we've got Bloodsport, played by Idris Elba. Well, he's handsome. I don't really know anything about Bloodsport though. We've got Savant, played by Michael Rooker, who's awesome. I don't know who that is, but I bet they're like really good at specific things. Javelin, played by Flula Borg. No idea who that is. No idea who Javelin is either, but I'm willing to bet that Javelin has a javelin and throws it at people. That would be my guess. Then we've got Polka Dot Man, who I actually do know who that is. Polka Dot Man uses polka dots to his polka dots are like different gadgets and stuff. It's, it's weird. Ratcatcher. Ratcatcher catches rats and throws them at people. Actually, I do know Ratcatcher. Ratcatcher is some dude who lives in the sewer, um, um, and commands an army of rats. So this one's played by Daniela Melchior, who I don't know. King Shark is a shark and looks almost exactly like the King Shark version in the DC Harley Quinn animated show, so that makes me happy. Um, Voiced by Steve Agee, don't know who that is. Peacemaker, played by John Cena. No idea who that is either, but in a little behind the scenes video of the actors all being like, I'm happy to be working and getting a paycheck, he says Peacemaker is essentially a douchey Captain America. So, yeah, I'm there for that. Peter Capaldi is playing the Thinker, who I would imagine is a very smart person. So, probably like Marvel's The Leader, I guess. Maybe he has like a. I don't know if he's clairvoyant or a telepath or what. But, but I bet he has great thoughts. And he's probably not shy about sharing them with you, whether you want to hear them or not. Pete Davidson, someone I actually do know, he's an SNL guy, plays Blackguard. No idea who that is. Nathan Fillion, I know who that is. He's playing TDK. I have no idea who that is. Weasel is a weasel, played by Sean Gunn. It's an anthropomorphic weasel. I'm there for that. Mongal, that's Mongol's kid. Mongol's the War World dude who's just really strong. I mean, he can get into a fist fight with Superman and does frequently. Mongel's his kid, and she's got the same power set, so that should be interesting. And I think that's it. So, I would have liked to see more of the actual movie, because, again, I'm pretty sure they finished shooting a while ago. I'm surprised they didn't show more, but I'm sure we'll see more eventually. Let's see. What are we talking about here? Um, we're talking about the Tim Burton getting a third chance at Batman. How could they forget Calendar Man or Condiment Man or the Mad Hatter? They probably didn't. The Calendar Man and Condiment Man, way too mainstream for this this collection of baddies. I mean, these characters are so obscure. They could some of them could possibly have been made up because like I'm a fairly knowledgeable comic books guy. I mean, I may not be able to tell you the history of all the characters, but usually I've heard of them. Even the more fair, like I mean, I've heard of Condiment Man, and I think he was creation of the Batman animated series. Um, but yeah, most of these characters, I have no idea who the hell they are. Um, so yeah, that So looking forward to the Suicide Squad. Excuse me. But what about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is Rocksteady's new game? Ah, gracious, it is uncomfortably warm in here. Well, they did not show any game footage, but they did show a 4-ish minute pre-rendered movie, little short film. So I guess what is so it looks like it's going to be Gotham Knights, the video game done by Warner Brothers Montreal. Only instead of Batgirl and the Three Robins, it's Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. That's what it looks like to me. It says instead of the Bat Kids, we're getting these four characters, and you run around beating people up as you try to kill Superman and I guess the rest of the Justice League. Now, you might think, Andrew, I bet you were super annoyed by this. Nah, I'm willing to cut it some slack for a couple reasons. Number one, it's a cute little mini movie short film thing. I found it enjoyable to watch, even if it had no gameplay. And number two, game doesn't come out for another 2 years, so I can understand if they genuinely just don't have any good footage ready yet. Game's still 2 years out. If it was coming out this fall or early next year, I'd balk, yes. But it's not coming out till 2022, so oh well. I think the short film does a very nice job of setting up the tone and setting up the characters and the premise of the game. I like the characters, I like their designs, I like the way they interact. And here's something really interesting. Let us contrast the design of the characters in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League with the characters in the Avengers, the Crystal Dynamics Avengers game. I don't like with the exception of Kamala Khan, I don't like the character design in the Avengers because they seem to be desperately trying to be the movie characters without actually using the likenesses. Like they so desperately want to use the MCU movie imagery and likenesses, but they can't. But so they're getting as legally close as they can, and it just comes off as I've described before, as those characters' stunt doubles. Now, interestingly, the Justice League, Kill the Justice League characters are influenced a lot by how they looked in the Suicide Squad movie. Deadshot is based on the outfit that Will Smith wore in the movie, the David Ayer movie. Captain Boomerang is based on Jai Courtney's portrayal in the movie. Harley Quinn seems to be kind of a cross between Margot Robbie's version and the Rocksteady's already existing version of the character. King Shark, interestingly, is not using the Suicide Squad movie or DC Animated Universe version. It seems to be doing its own thing, which honestly I like the other version better. But I think the reason I find the characters attractive and aesthetically attractive and they work for me is they're not trying to use the likenesses from any other version. They're influenced by them, but they have their own design. The Marvel Avengers characters do not. They're trying to get as legally close to something as they can, which makes them look kind of bland, equally bland and just off and weird. While I feel the Suicide Squad characters have their own look and design and personality that I think works, even though they are definitely influenced by iterations of the characters we've seen before. Um, Jordan and Suzanne are like, I want Eisen merch. Um, you idiots, these are not them. You've captured their stunt doubles. Now go back to combing the desert. Yes. Spaceballs. Chaos says, I think somewhere that I heard somewhere that the Suicide Squad games are set in the Arkham universe. That's what I have heard too. I believe Rocksteady has stated that. I've heard it reported that a press release that Rocksteady put out that I've not seen said that. So take that for what it's worth. I didn't see the press release. I'm not on their mailing list, but that's not too surprising. Uh, it looks like this, like I had mentioned, the Harley Quinn is kind of a cross between the Harley Quinn that is in the earlier Rocksteady games and the one used in the movie, which in turn was actually based on, in part, on the designs used in the Rocksteady game. It's the cannibalistic Ouroboros-y circle of life, I guess. We need Spaceballs to search for more money, or Spaceballs the Schwartz Awakens. Yeah. So anyway, hey, could be cool. We'll find out in a few years. All right. Here's the one where I really want to drop an F-bomb and am going to try not to because I already dropped the F-bomb on Twitter. So if you're curious as to how I would have used it, at Andrew Eisen is where to go. So Batman v Superman. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not Batman v Superman. It's Justice League. Which is interesting because the title treatment for the Snyder Cut is Zack Snyder! Justice League. Well, heck, Zach, I mean, if you've got the clout to put your name not just above the title, but like 5 times the font size, hey, man, you go for it. So they released a trailer for the Snyder Cut Justice League. And how do I want to phrase this without swearing? I do not recall ever wanting so fervently to punch a trailer right in the face. Because, oh my god. It's I mean, it looks like an alternate cut of Justice League. But what got me was this cover of that was the music accompanying the trailer, which was a cover of Hallelujah, the Leonard Cohen. Oh my God! For those of you who are not familiar with the song, I'm sure you'd know it if you heard it. So we've got the so they're playing the trailer for Justice League recut, whatever, and you have the Leonard Cohen song. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Ooh, ooh, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. Oh God. That that is the exact song you would use if you were making fun of this. If you were making fun of the obnoxiously pretentious self-seriousness of this project, this is exactly the song you would use. Yes! They're so serious! Why so serious? Oh my god! Hallelujah! It's a, it's a superhero movie! It's a recut of an existing superhero! Hallelujah! Oh, go away! Jeez. I love behind the scenes stuff. I love directors' commentaries. I love film historian commentaries and essays. I love special effects reels. I love bloopers. I am utterly fascinated by deleted scenes and alternate cuts and director's cuts and alternate versions of works. I eat this stuff up. I am such a huge mark for this. But this presentation, it makes me want to just ignore you. Hallelujah! God, guys! Come on! Really? Hallelujah! Oh. Relax. Relax, world. No need to worry about the giant pile of suck over there. We've recut a superhero movie. Hallelujah. Oh, God. I hope with every fiber of my cynical being that was done tongue-in-cheek. That they are self-aware enough to know how utterly ridiculous that is. Please tell me you have that much self-awareness. I don't think I can take it if you're that self-serious. Hallelujah. Hey, I wrote some poems in high school, and I dug them out of my drawer, and my writing's improved a lot since high school, so I rewrote the poems, and I would like to share them with you now. Hallelujah! Oh, they're really good now! Oh, thank God he fixed it! I mean, they were okay before. But that's what the world needs. Hallelujah. It's really hot in here. Jordan's like, I wonder what your neighbors think of your rendition of Hallelujah. Cass says, I'm the type of person who watched the making of features of Lord of the Rings more than once. Uh, I, um, they're where they sit on the shelf is behind the couch, but from your perspective. But I do have the extended versions of all the Lord of the Rings movies, and yeah, I devoured all that. I loved it, loved it. Um, Jordan says, "Oh, oh no, Andrew's gone mad. Don't do drugs." The Snyder cut broke Andrew. Uh, Andrew.exe has stopped responding. Cali Heat's getting to me, yeah. Hallelujah. So they also showed a trailer for The Batman, which is the new Batman movie. Has what's his face in it? Robert Pattinson, I think his name is. Plays Batman. So it looks like Riddler's the bad guy, or a bad guy. I think one of the mobster guys. What was it? Falcone or something like that's in there. Um, the Batmobile's a muscle car. That's pretty cool. I don't know. We'll have to see. I did enjoy the extended beat down that Batman gives someone. The whole "Who are you?" I'm Batman. That whole scene. This guy throws a punch at him. He blocks it, grabs this guy by the scuff of and just punches him in the face like 15 times. It's like you remember John Carpenter's "They Live," that alleyway brawl between Keith David and Rowdy Roddy Piper that goes on for like 7 solid minutes, and these two guys just beating the snot out of each other. That's what it felt like. You know, at first I was like, "Oh, cool," and then I was like, "Okay, that's enough," and then I was like, "Okay, this is pretty great." And it kind of explains the whole bad guys who wait their turn in a fight. It's like, man, Batman fighting with a group of 6 other guys is going to take a while. It's like, we have to wait. He's busy right now. We can't. That'd be rude. But the bad guys are like, should we get? Oh man, this guy's. I I don't want to fight this guy anymore. I just okay, man. You go enhance your calm, John Spartan. I think you've got some issues you need to work out. Good golly. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll be great or not, but or good or bad or whatever. But yeah, I'll give it a chance. Batman won't just punch you. Batman will hamburger your face. It was pretty funny. Um, pardon me. Um, oh crap! It's 8 o'clock. I didn't even get to my main topic. Golly. From what I understand, HBO Max is going to have a The Batman television show, which is apparently a focuses more on the GCPD than Batman, and it's like a prequel. It takes place before the movie. Okay, but HBO, DC, Warner, all y'all. I do hope you are consumer friendly enough to recognize that there are some people who purchased a subscription to DC Universe. Would be nice if you just gave them a free year of HBO Max or a super discount, or you know, be nice. You don't have to, and you probably won't, but it, it'd be nice. It, they should have named it "I'm Batman" rather than "The Batman." Yeah. So buy some ice cream to help beat the heat. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about, switch my tabs here, the 25 online games that women enjoy. There's 25 of them, you see. So there was a bit of a snafu earlier this week. The ESA, Entertainment Software Association, the lobbying group for the group that lobbies on behalf of the interests of game publishers, not game consumers. You would think those would be the same thing, or at least the Venn diagram would overlap a lot, but no. The ECA put its foot in it again. I mean, not as bad as, doxing all the E3 attendees. Not that bad. But it did retweet an article that it probably didn't read. Probably. So, have you heard of Parade magazine? It's got a website. It published a listicle called "The Games We Play!" 25 online games that women enjoy, which is a list of games that women ostensibly enjoy. And the ESA later apologized for retweeting this article, saying, we posted a story that does not reflect what we believe and know to be true, that women and girls make, play, and excel in games of all genres. Video games are for everyone, as the unequivocal voice of the gaming community reminds us all. So, I would like to spend some time going through this article and analyzing why it's not great, and perhaps brainstorming ways it could be better. So, come with me on this journey, won't you? Again, I'm going to try to keep from dropping F-bombs, and I want to be constructive and helpful rather than insulting and mean-spirited. Because making anyone feel bad is not my goal here. I may fail, but I will try not to. So we have an article. It's called "The Games We Play, 25 Online Games That Women Enjoy." Okay. Let's start with the title. Is this an article that we really need? 25 online games that women enjoy. Well, we are here in 2020. It's a bit specifically gendered. But is it unneeded? What's the audience for this article? What is the intention of this article? Can an article like this serve a purpose? Well, gaming, as many different forms of entertainment are, unfortunately, can be a bit gatekeepy, especially when it comes to pretty much anyone who doesn't look like this. So, an article like 25 online games that women enjoy could serve a particular niche. For example, you could have a person who is not like this thinking, you know what, I like video games, or I'm interested in video games, but can be a little gatekeepy, not really sure where to start, where I might be welcome. Oh, hey, look, 25 online games that women enjoy. This might be a list of places to look and start and find fun communities to play with. So, in my ridiculously humble opinion, I don't necessarily have a problem with the existence of such an article. I think it can serve a purpose. So, let's continue on with the article and see what it actually does. The right under the title is this image, which is what appears to be a woman sitting at a PC playing a first-person shooter of some sort. I don't recognize it. That does anyone recognize the game? Don't know if it's a real game or not. This is a stock photo, but this is the lead image of the article. So, okay, so far so good. No problem so far. Now, let's get into the opening paragraphs and see what we're getting into with this article. Before I start, as someone who is... It can be very difficult to analyze what is problematic in any kind of sexist way, because I'm a guy. One strategy, one tool that I use, that anyone can use, is to determine if something is potentially problematic in any type of sexist way, is to take a sentence or passage or part of an article and turn it around to make it about a male. And then say, okay, let's take this portion of the article, let's make it about a male. Would this be written like that if it were about a male? If not, that's a red flag. It's not necessarily, oh, you're sexist and a bad person now. No, not necessarily, but it's a red flag and it's worth considering. So that's one of the tools I use. Keep that in mind as we read through this. So, girls love gaming just as much as men. According to a report by Entertainment Software Association, of the total 214.4 million players in the U.S., 41% are female, 77% of women ages 35 to 54 say playing games helps them relax, and 78% are using their downtime to hop into alternate worlds on their smartphones or devices. Playing online games can be an amazing distraction from a long day on the job, a much-needed break from intense news headlines, or a way to engage with friends and loved ones, with a side of friendly competition. And yes, playing games is totally an acceptable form of self-care. While online games have no gender attached to them, and many women enjoy everything from a puzzle quest to a sports match or fight-oriented game, there are some games that female players tend to gravitate towards. We surveyed game developers, pro gamers, and everyday players to bring you this list of 25 free online games for women. Okay. My guess is that the ESA read the opening paragraph, saw that it said according to the ESA blah blah blah, and said, oh, hey, they referenced us, retweet. That's my guess as to what happened. I doubt they read any further than that, because while I don't really, putting my editor hat on, I don't really like the opening. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's a little weird. Reads a little kind of, is this still a thing we need to phrase in this particular way, as if it's like this amazingly unknown thing in 2020? Maybe we do. I don't know. But, so, what we have here is a listicle. We have a list of 25 games, online games for women. Now, I'm going to spoil the article a little bit and point out that the article's lead-in is completely misrepresentative of what the listicle actually is. It says it's a list of 25 free online games for women. It is a list of 25, that's true, but many of the games, as we'll see, are not free, and some of them aren't online either. And I have a problem with the for women part, because these games aren't for women. As the intro itself actually points out, games are for everyone. Everyone plays games. This is not only a list of games that women enjoy, that have a big audience of women, But then it says, here's a list of games for women. Again, a little sloppy. So, now, as a freelance writer myself, freelancing is hard. It's especially hard to actually support yourself on freelancing alone, especially right now. Listicles are one of the easier things to sell as a freelance writer, and I hate writing them. Um, but again, they're one of the easiest things to sell. So I can't fault whoever wrote this if they're, a freelance writer who's just trying to put food on the table and they created a listicle. I get that. But I just want to look at the content of this article and where I feel it goes wrong. So, if you were to write a listicle of 25 games that women enjoy, how would you go about creating that list? Well, there's a lot of different things you could do. Probably the thing you would want to do is to either commission a wide study of a survey of a lot of different people on what games they are playing. You would probably want to do that over multiple times over a period of time to see how those games change over time. You would ideally want to uh, have a sample size of probably a couple thousand, or at the very least several hundred. But as a freelance writer creating a listicle, that's probably unrealistic to perform or commission that yourself. So the next thing you might want to do is see if anyone else has already done that research. Like, for example, the ESA, who every year commissions another company to survey about 4,000 people across the country on who they are, how old they are, what their gender is, and what games they play and enjoy and what platforms they play on. And then they compile all of this into what they call the essential... Actually, what is it called? I have the thing right here. The essential facts about the video game industry. And they publish this every year. And if I may offer a slight critique to the ESA, this is a pretty decently done survey. It's a nice 4,000 or so sample size, so it's a pretty good representative sample of gamers across the United States. I believe it's limited to. I have not seen the actual survey questions, but based on the results that the ESA shows, I'm guessing that there's a question that says, are you male or female? And there's no other option. ESA, it's 2020. Get with the times, folks. Because, I mean, imagine being a non-binary person or other gender non-conforming person and trying to fill out this survey and being like, well, what do I do now? There's no space for me. So, ESA, maybe take that into consideration for next year. Please. Please. So, let's look at the 2020 Essential Video Games list and see the types of games that women of various age groups say that they are interested in. We have family games, including Super Mario Party and Just Dance. Action games, Grand Theft Auto, Super Mario Odyssey, God of War. Racing games, Need for Speed, Mario Kart. Arcade games, Pac-Man, Pinball FX3. I got to scroll a bit. So, family and arcade games, adventure games, Tomb Raider, Uncharted, casual games, Tetris and Solitaire, and there we go. So, according to the ESA's Essential Facts About the Video Game Industry from 2020, which this listicle actually sourced, women have a very broad video game diet that includes a lot of different genres. Which is like, women are people with varying tastes that differ from individual to individual. There might be something there. So if you were writing the listicle, you could source that research or other research of that type to try and compile a list of games that women are fond of. Failing that, you could contact sources that would have access to gender breakdowns of player bases for different games. These would probably include platform holders like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Epic, Steam, companies like that, Apple. The problem you might run into with contacting these companies is, number one, they're not necessarily interested in revealing those numbers to you. And number two, even if they are, there's a good chance that they're just going to tell you about the games that they want to promote via your article, rather than really honestly answer the question. You do definitely run into that risk. Again, think of if you asked Nintendo, hey, Nintendo, you have lots of games on your platform. Do you see any particular games that are overwhelmingly enjoyed by your female player base? Nintendo has access to that data, certainly, but it may just answer with the games it wants promoted, because why wouldn't it? Another option, I think we're on option number 4 now, would be just to call random people and say, hey, Susan, what you playing right now? And then just write down all those and form a list. Or, number 5, you could just make this up. You could just assume what I feel like women are enjoying game X, game Y, game Z, and create a list like that. So those are 5 options one could take in composing a listicle such as this. So let me catch up with the chat, and then we will dig through the listicle and see if we can identify how this listicle was put together. Jordan says they could have titled it 25 Games for Men, and it could imply hunting, cars, war, fighting, stuff a large number of men love. Yeah. Uh, Just catching up on the chat. Okay. So, again, list of 25 free online games for women, free games for women. Number 1, Sudoku. Specifically, the Sudoku game that's found at sudoku.com. So it's a browser game. So it's online and it's free. So far, so good. It says Sudoku is a logic-based combinatorial number placement puzzle. In classic Sudoku, the objective is to fill a 9x9 grid with digits so that each column, each row, and each of the 9 3x3 subgrids that compose the grid contain all the digits from 1 to 9. Quote, The puzzle setter provides a partially completed grid, which for a well-posed puzzle has a single solution, end quote, says Neil Taparia, founder of Imagine Easy Solutions, a software company with a gaming platform that has noticed a high female user base within the game. So, Neil is the founder of a company I've never heard of and didn't want to spend too much time looking, but it really looks like and sounds like that at the very least a subsidiary of Imagine Easy Solution owns the Sudoku.com portal, and that's how he has access to the gender breakdown of the users of that game. So that's the number 3 version I talked about, which is potentially problematic. But let's move on with the list and see what else is here. Number 2, Sayonara Wild Hearts. This, per Brittany Lianage, per Brittany, a product manager with Facebook's gaming product team, is a gorgeous game featuring tarot card and astrology motifs with a sweet storyline that makes you feel like you're in control of a pop music video. Quote, the game's controls are simply left, right, and occasional taps to rhythm, but they feel way more complicated when you ramp up, she explains. Many players admit to listening to the soundtrack for months after beating the levels. It's also narrated by Queen Latifah, which gives it an extra fun spin. Okay, so we spoke to a product manager with Facebook's gaming product team, which again, potentially problematic, but the game she recommended is not part of Facebook Gaming's product team, so okay, at least as far as I know. However, we've run into our first problem. Sayonara Wild Hearts is not an online game, nor is it free. I mean, you can download a digital version of it. You can buy it online, but it's not an online game. I don't even think it has leaderboards so far. I don't know, but maybe it has leaderboards. But you don't play it online. You don't need to be online to play it, and it's definitely not free. So we're kind of breaking the rules of our list on the second entry. Number 3, Candy Crush Saga. In 2016, 64% of Candy Crush players were female, and as the days go by, more and more women seem to become hooked. This puzzle adventure game allows players to match their way through hundreds of levels. Users swipe candy in a variety of directions to create sets of 3 matching candies. It's like dessert without the calories. So the 64% number comes from a Statista poll, or at least a collection of data which you have to pay for. I don't know if the author actually bought this to read it, but the abstract says that in 2019, male users accounted for 36% of the app's active user accounts on the Android platform specifically, so on no other platform. So she used that to say that 64% were female. Don't know where she's getting more and more women are playing it today. That's not stated, but let's move on. Number 4, Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Are you Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin? There's room for all in this augmented reality continuation of the Harry Potter franchise, which allows you to cast spells, enter fortresses, and engage in battles. Quote, I love how it let me keep playing in the Harry Potter world beyond the books, says Sarah Bean, a book marketing manager in Rochester, Michigan, who plays alongside her daughter. I had 2 girlfriends who played it early on, and I was hooked on the game with them. Okay, so it looks like the author both spoke to people who manage gaming platforms and also just random people. Number 5, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing is a social simulation video game series developed and published by Nintendo. In this game, the player character is a human who lives in a village inhabited by various anthropomorphic animals, carrying out various activities such as fishing, bug catching, and fossil hunting. It's a fun way for Jennifer Chatfield, who manages media relations for a large hospital system in San Diego, to unwind at the end of her workday. Quote, I go fishing, catch butterflies, and dive for pearls that can be exchanged for bells to decorate my island home with custom furniture and dress my avatar in the latest fashions, all while cohabitating with 9 other islanders, including characters played online by my husband, son, and daughter. It's challenging yet fun. And Liz Stahl, president of digital media agency In-House, uses the platform to host weekly meetings with her coworkers. The ways we have chosen to design our islands in particular has inspired many exciting brainstorms for how we can bring this type of open world creativity to our world with clients, she says. This is not a free game. This game costs $60 on top of a subscription for Nintendo Online service. So, Number 6, Overwatch. Overwatch has become extremely popular with ladies who game. In fact, it reportedly has twice the number of women who play it versus any other first-person shooter game. According to who? Don't know. Women like it since it has a lot of female heroes to portray, giving them a chance to hold their own amidst the boys, and for its fantasy element. Players can portray everything from a time-traveling freedom fighter to a beat-dropping battlefield DJ. It's so much fun and very forgiving, well, until you start playing competitive, jokes pro gamer Alex Lee, who plays under the moniker Motorcycle Cat. Women like it since it has a lot of female heroes to portray. That's understandable. If I lived in a world where the vast majority of characters were women, and occasionally there would be men in assless chaps, I would probably be attracted to a game that had a bunch of dudes in jeans. If nothing, because representation matters, and even if it didn't, at least for the variety and novelty, right? But I do find the line, a lot of female heroes gives them a chance to hold their own amidst the boys. It's odd. I also find it odd that they mention a lot of female heroes, and then their 2 examples are a time-traveling freedom fighter, which I think is Tracer, who's a female, so okay, or a beat-dropping battlefield DJ, which I think is Lucio, who's a dude. So that's an odd choice to name drop, unless I've got completely the wrong character. But Overwatch does have a I've talked about this in podcasts past. Overwatch does indeed have a very nicely diverse roster of heroes. So that's good. They could do a bit more with the body type diversity and age diversity of the heroes, but that has been improving too, so good on you. Number 7, Solitaire. Sometimes simple is best. Solitaire has been around since 10th century China, and there's something meditative about dragging cards around a screen to line them up by alternative red and blue and descending suit. Red and blue. It's usually black. That's kind of weird. And everyone loves the grand finale when the cards do that big on-screen celebration when you hit it big and win. Quote from our user surveys, these types of classic games are often played as a quick distraction or break from what the person is doing, says Neil Taparia, who we mentioned earlier. Our female users are surfing the web and see classic games as a quick and fun pit stop. So that's specifically referring to the game at solitaired.com. How you doing, chat? You doing good? Yeah, we're doing good. Okay. 8. Sims 4. Quote, the Sims franchise has been around for just over 20 years, offering its users the chance to live life however they like. Whether that's killing the infamous Eliza Pancakes, I don't know what that is, or woohooing the aliens. You bet I know what that is. Says player Kelsey Drury, a catering assistant in Hertfordshire, England. The Create a Sim feature is very in-depth, and the Sims community makes amazing houses and buildings, which make it a fun world to escape into. Quote, anything you want in real life you can achieve in the Sims, Drury adds. And that's it. Okay. Stardew Valley is number 9. It's a captivating farming simulation with a player versus environment aspect and an in-depth storyline. And Per Drury, who has her own farm in the game, unlike most games, there's no rush to complete the main story, making it a relaxing game to play. In the game, players create their own characters, build a life as a farmer, raise animals, grow crops, go fishing, mingle with the locals, attend a birthday party, and can even propose to someone they think is marriage-worthy. Alright, number 10, Spelunky. An old-school platformer game where your character must make their way through different levels, starting with a cave, hence the name, and avoid being killed by the numerous amounts of monsters awaiting you. Players like Drury enjoy using it as escape from the daily stressors and feel a huge satisfaction when completing a level. Number 11, Bejeweled Classic. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Am I right, ladies? And they are even more fun when they come in a variety of sizes, neon colors, and when you get rewarded for properly matching them. Bejeweled was deemed perhaps the most insanely addictive puzzle game ever, which is why it's a go-to for many gals. Bejeweled was deemed, quote, perhaps the most insanely addictive puzzle game ever, end quote. By whom? I'm not saying someone didn't say that at some point. Not saying it's not true, but, you've got a direct quote there. Who said that? Also, this is a pretty good... the diamonds are a girl's best friend. Am I right, ladies? If this were an article of... This is an example of the lines I'm talking about, where if you think about it from the perspective of... If this were a list about games for guys, would a line like this be the lead line of a particular game? Probably not. Does that make the author a bad person or a horrible misogynist who should bury her head in the sand and never speak to anyone again? No. No, that's not what that means. It's still, in my humble opinion, not particularly good writing. Is it sexist? By definition, actually, yes, it is. But I don't get the sense that it's, like, maliciously sexist. It's casually sexist. Pretty innocuous by itself, but, little innocuous things add up. So, you try to avoid that kind of stuff. Anyway, number 12. Bang Dream, Girls Band Party. This game originated in Japan and became so popular that the US recently got its own version. Bang Dream combines animated characters with real performances. It's a music game where you tap on your phone to follow the rhythm of the songs. Joe Flanagan, founder of 90s Fashion World and an avid gamer, has seen this to be a popular one for the opposite sex. Quote, it is basically a music game where you tap on your phone to follow the rhythm of the songs, he explains. You unlock content by leveling up your team members and building better bands. It is free to play, looks adorable, and has lots of anime covers that you might enjoy if you're an anime fan. Okay? Well, I've never heard of it, so take your word for it. Number 13, Casino World. And the colon that follows Casino World, so it's Casino World, colon, space, and then the text of the article. The colon and the space has an underline under it, so that's a typo. It happens, but I'm noticing a lot of... I don't think your editor really looked at this carefully. Casino World. Like slots? Is blackjack your thing? Or you might be more of a bingo gal. This community-driven, free-to-play game allows players to build a casino empire and play more than 45 casino-style games like slots, blackjack, poker, roulette, and bingo. Casino World also allows for users to create party rooms, which act as interactive chat rooms where they can invite friends to share Casino World charms, which boost your gameplay winnings and interact with other avatars. How'd you hear about this one, author? Who talked about this one? Number 14, Star Chef Cooking Game. This game gives players the chance to star in their own real-life cooking competition show. In Star Chef, players will build their own high-end restaurant from the ground up. As the star chef in your kitchen, you'll be dicing up vegetables, designing menus for customers, and exploring exotic cuisines. Who mentioned this one? Starting to read more like an advertisement than actual list of games that appeal to women for reasons. Number 15, Tiny Wings. Quote, this game is now a bona fide classic in the mobile gaming world, and I still go back to it every now and then to try to beat my score, reveals Liange. It's a simple single-tap game with a relaxing soundtrack, and the only agenda is to beat your own score by playing a tiny bird, hopping island to island before the sun sets. It's endlessly playable and can be picked up during a quick 5 minutes and revisited on your own time. Quote, I've often used this game as a personal stress reliever after a long day at work or a tough commute. Okay. 16. Oh, pardon me. Heyday. When it comes to farming apps, Heyday reigns supreme. Does it? A visit to the app's Facebook page alone reveals that it has 13 million likes. Heyday is a fun way to be creative in starting a farm. The ground up. Heyday is a fun way to be creative in starting a farm the ground up and interacting with a farming community, says player Sue Jones, who enjoys dressing up her farm with items she earns in the game, such as flowers, fences, and trees. It's also fun to visit other farms and see what they did with theirs, she adds. Alright. 17. Kim Kardashian, Hollywood Adventure. Create your own celebrity story. Join Kim Kardashian in Hollywood. This is the tagline of the popular game created by the reality queen herself. The game allows players to join your favorite Kardashian on a red carpet adventure, create your own aspiring celebrity, and rise to fame and fortune. You can also choose your own look and style your character, rule the red carpet, travel the world, and own exotic homes and pets. Who told you about this one? Don't know, but the quotes that are littered throughout this sounds like you're just writing this off of the game description on the sales page. Pardon. 18. Harvest Moon, Seeds of Memories. I love the Harvest Moon franchise. The games have been around for over 20 years on different consoles. The concept is simple, grow crops and build your farm up, but there are so many more things you can do in the game. It's really satisfying to plant and water your crops, all while relaxing after a full day of real-life work, says frequent player Jessica Forsyth. Thanks, Jessica. Number 19, House Flipper. If you're a fan of anything on HGTV, this game might be your thing. The premise is that you flip houses and take on jobs to redecorate houses. I have fun with interior design aspect of the game and enjoy seeing the before and after, Forsyth explains. 20. Just Dance 2020. Have fun, shake off the stress of the day, and burn some calories in the process. Just Dance 2020 provides you a reason to get Just Dance 2020 provides you a reason to get off the couch and shake it to 40 chart-topping hits from artists like God is a Woman by Ariana Grande and the Grammy Award-winning Old Town Road by Lil Nas and Billy Ray Cyrus. The game allows you to select your favorite songs and create your own playlist, play along with friends, and even features kid-friendly songs so you can rope in your youngins. How you doing, chat? Alright. Number 21, Disney Code Illusion. Who says coding is just for males? Sexist, predominantly males do. Interestingly, coding used to be regarded as a woman's job. You know, in the same vein that secretarial work is generally regarded by many as a woman's job. Like if you think secretary, most people are probably going to think of, mentally image a woman. Programming used to be women's work. But now a lot of sexist dorks are like, oh, only men can code. So, so sexist people do. I answered your question. You're welcome. Disney definitely doesn't. This online game teaches players computer coding lessons by incorporating famous Disney characters and scenes. Disney Code Illusions may sound like it's for kids, but there's a huge adult user base, which includes many women. Trust us, I guess. I don't know where that data comes from. After registering, players learn various coding languages by playing with characters like Queen Elsa, Ariel, and Wreck-It Ralph. Plus, they get a gorgeous physical magic book to go along with the online game. Quote, 70% of all people who have purchased Disney Code Illusion are female, says marketing director Amanda Windsor. She adds that women enjoy immersing themselves in the world while completing challenges that earn them life skills. Okay, so I guess that came from the marketing. I'm wondering if Amanda Windsor is the marketing director of Disney or the portion that's responsible for Disney Code Illusion, or if she's just a marketing director. Don't know. 22. The Game of Life. You can be a winner at the Game of Life. This online version of the popular board game with an awesome theme song on a commercial from decades ago, is a big hit for those looking to reconnect with a favorite youth pastime. Quote, it takes me back to my childhood, and after all these years, it's still fun to get to put the blue and pink pegs in the car when you land on a space that says you have babies, and to try and make more money than your opponents, says Jones, who plays from her home in Metro Detroit. 23. Drawful 2. Drawful 2 by Jackbox Games challenges players to draw ridiculous prompts on their smartphone. It's a fun game for your friends that love to mark up their Instagram stories or relax with some adult coloring books. The game also has a Create Your Own Episodes feature, which allows you to craft rounds around a player's friend's bridal shower, or to be the perfect addition to a bachelorette party game night. Available to purchase on the on the Jackbox website for blah 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 blah. Okay. Number 24, Love Letter. You are the suitor and are competing, the Bachelor style, to get your love letter to the princess. Now you must bluff, draw, and play for her affection. The game is a personal favorite for Kristen Seikali, founder of game-oriented blog Cats and Dice, who often plays with her mother and has also roped her husband into playing alongside her. It's a great way to spend time together with our tight schedules. And finally, number 25, Tetris, lining up blocks, squares, and other shapes, watching them fall, and striving to get them all on a line. Who doesn't love this classic game? Women especially are fans, says Neil Taparia, who we've heard from a couple times in this article. Bonus, Tetris has some health benefits as well. Playing for as little as 3 minutes has been shown to weaken cravings. And brain imaging in another study showed that 30 minutes a day for 3 months increased brain efficacy and lead to a thicker cortex. Oh, your cortex is so thick. So weakened cravings, I actually followed the link here, which goes to a article in Science Daily. So I had to go to the actual article. Which unfortunately I have to pay for, which I'm not going to, but we can read the abstract, or the study rather. We can read the abstract. Playing Tetris decreases drug and other cravings in real-world settings. Most research on cognitive processes and cravings has been carried out in the laboratory and focuses on food craving. This study extends laboratory findings to real-world settings and cravings for drugs or activities as well as food. Previous laboratory research has found that playing Tetris reduces craving strength. And I'm tripping over my words because my mouth is so dry. The study used an ecological momentary assessment protocol in which 31 undergraduate participants carried iPods for a week and were prompted 7 times each day to use their iPod to report craving. Participants reported craving target and strength, whether they indulged the previous craving, and whether they were under the influence of alcohol. Those randomly assigned to the intervention condition then played Tetris for 3 minutes and reported their craving again. Those in the monitoring-only control condition provided baseline craving data to test if Tetris reduced the incidence and strength of spontaneous cravings across the week. Playing Tetris decreased craving strength for drugs, alcohol, nicotine, caffeine, food and drink, and activities including sex, exercise, and gaming. playing a game reduced cravings for gaming. Well, that makes sense. With a mean reduction of 13.9 percentage points, the effect was consistent across the week. This is the first demonstration that visual cognitive interference can be used in the field to reduce cravings for substances and activities other than eating. Okay, so we have made it, friends, through the article. What broad conclusions can we draw from this? Well, my sense is that the author put this together through, I believe it was number 4. Basically, it sounds like she just picked people out of her Rolodex, people she had contact information for, and said, hey, what game are you playing right now? And then added it to the list. So this list of 25 comes from about a dozen different people. Needless to say, if you contact an individual and say, hey, what game are you enjoying right now? And they name a game, that alone is not really a great reason to put it on a list of games women enjoy, because that's not necessarily true. Nor is, hey, platform holder, I notice this particular game of yours has a higher percentage of female gamers. That must mean this game is popular with women. No, that just means that that game has a larger female base than male base, if those are the two categories that you're creating statistics for. So that's not a great way to put together such a list. The other thing I notice is a propensity for the paragraph descriptions for each games to cite a great way to unwind after a long day. The way this article frames the reason that women play video games is as a quick distraction to unwind after a long day, which is perfectly fine. I do the same thing, but I do find it interesting that in the 25 games on the list, there's no mention of people who, I mean, one of the people interviewed is a competitive gamer, but people who, very little mention of playing games to connect with friends or family. This article, for example, was published on August 14th. Ostensibly, so written within the last, researched within the last month, I would think. You would think that that might be something that comes up when we're all stuck at home, socially isolated during a pandemic. Nothing really about people who game just because they really enjoy gaming. I also noticed that while the list does have some very nice games on it, like Sayonara Wild Hearts is a great pick. Animal Crossing, even casual stuff like Solitaire and Sudoku is worth putting on lists like this. For example, when I have a game on my phone, a browser game that I play. It's a version of Koi Koi, which is a card game that uses Hanafuda cards. I learned how to play that game using via the Yakuza games. And it's just a fun thing, like if I'm waiting for a table at a restaurant, which I've not done for a while. It's a great game that I can play while I'm sitting there waiting to be called and not invest much time or effort or interest in, because I'm happy to put it down in the middle of a hand and go eat or whatever, right? Those games are absolutely valuable too. The other thing I find notable about this list is I don't see a lot of the variety of games that I see reflected in the ESA's own essential facts about the video game industry survey, which again surveyed 4,000 people. There were no action games really, or adventure games, like no Tomb Raider, no Uncharted, no God of War, Grand Theft Auto, no racing games, no RPGs, no Mamorpagas, no racing games. So this is not a well composed listicle. I don't believe that this was a list that was just, oh, I'll just pick a bunch of silly browser games that I'm sure women like and call it a day. I don't get that sense, but I don't think there was a lot of time or effort or care put into this article beyond just contacting a bunch of people and saying, hey, what are you playing? And then just listing the games they mentioned. So, if the intention of the article beyond I need to eat dinner and I can sell a listicle article was something along the lines of, are you trying to get into gaming? Are you finding it a little gatekeepy in cases? Or just looking for places to start? Here are games that lots of women enjoy, so maybe places to start. I feel it fails in that regard. I've It's full of some really obvious typos, and it's some of the individual lines are make me wince. You know, a little casually sexist in places. So yeah, I can understand why this was a side-eyed article, and can understand why the ESA initially tweeted it. It cites the ESA's own uh, study, which it commissions, but it's pretty clear that the ESA didn't actually read the article. um, so, so that's that. Let's see what the chat's talking about here. That's Susanna Jordan. Hi guys. Uh, Ring Fit Adventure. Golly, yeah. Apparently that thing's still sold out. And we're comparing scores in, I think, Tetris 99. Yeah. So so that was the 25 games for gals article. Not great. I don't feel it was malicious in any way. At least that's my read on it. I don't think it was very well put together, and I don't think it's particularly reflective of gamer tastes. And it apparently is not, according to actual surveys of the types of games that gamers play. Because this list is almost. Now, granted, the list is supposed to be free online games, so with that restriction, you would expect a lot of free online games like browser games, but Sayonara Wild Hearts, Animal Crossing, um, Stardew Valley, these are not free. Um, I don't know why the free online games was a restriction. Maybe it was I only asked 11 people, and they just all told me what they were playing on their smartphone that day. And so it looked like I was just coming up with games I feel that women play. So I said, okay, it's free online games, but it's not. So for what it's worth, not only did the ESA retract its tweet and apologize for tweeting it out, saying, we'll be, maybe we'll read the articles we retweet in the future. Not Salon, it was Parade, right? Yeah, Parade took the article itself down. Uh, so even Parade looked at it and went, ooh, yeah, our editors should probably edit. so, so Yeah, I think that article could have been better. And I really do wish that the ESA would get with the times and revamp exactly how it surveys people. Because that would be nice. That would be very nice. So, that's it for tonight. Took an extra hour to go over that sucker, but that's fine. I will be back tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time to play a little bit more. How's it called? Trails in the Sky RPG. Really fun. Been playing it for what 15 hours and finally got out of the prologue, and we're gonna start in on chapter 1. And hopefully it's not 89 degrees tomorrow, cause golly. So yeah, that's it. I hope you'll join me tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time for some RPG goodness. In the meantime, hallelujah, 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 ooh, 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 yeah. Good night, everyone.